The Fort Worth Art Museum believes in showing what 20th century artists are doing, but it also believes in helping them do it. It commissions working artists to do single exhibitions of their own, as well as special projects for group shows, all on the museum's seasonal schedules. And every once in a while, it commissions and installs, with considerable gusto and celebration, a new work for its own permanent collection.
We've really been commissioning at least as long as I've been here. When Richard Koshalik was director here, there were several months where there were already shows that had been arranged for. And even in that period, with the Larry Bell exhibition, the Iceberg in its Shadow, and with the exchange exhibition that we did with San Francisco that had artists from Dallas and Fort Worth, and then also from that area, it just seemed to come naturally. We just seemed to do it even then, and we seem to do it pretty much all the time, you know, from then all through the present, and are planning it into the future.
Who I want to commission? Okay, first of all, you have to have a lot of confidence in their work and in whatever direction they're taking at that time. Or you have to think that a particular situation might push them in a direction that would be very good for them. All right, I don't think that you can have ideas in a vacuum all by yourself. And so with Jay and with Marge, when we think of a project and we'd like to commission a work, we start bouncing ideas around.
Well, to me, it's very important for a museum of contemporary art to actually commission contemporary artists and bring important works of art to the community. To a degree, it's taking a chance. It's sort of gambling. You're buying something that you can't see, and there are certain risks involved in this. I would hope that people in Fort Worth recognize that we have one of the most important contemporary artists in the world today. We have just acquired one of his most important contemporary works. I understand we are the first museum to actually commission a work from him, and this involves, on the part of the museum trustees, an act of faith and trust in this artist.
We'd like to make you at this time an honorary citizen of the city of Fort Worth.
Oh,
with all of the, and hope you'll come back and visit us many, many times.
I will. Not a bad collage, huh? Who does your work for you?
I've been given whole museums in Europe. You know, take as much space as I want, per diems, the necessary travel, the support, the assistance physically to make works. But that happens nearly never here. It's only recently that that the American culture has been able to accept art. It's a kind of Protestant hang-up that art doesn't have a measurable use, and that's terribly difficult for the practical mind that built America. I think that most of the bureaucracy, the executives, the trustees could share in the, I don't like this word, it's too fancy, creation of the work in their own time, rather than waiting after they have no contact with it in any live fashion until it becomes some form of real estate.
Oh, no, we're not. No, we're not. No. See what we have to do.
I mean, a new work of art is as important as any of the latest technological discoveries. I mean, looking at a painting, if it will do that to you, may make you glad that you didn't go to the moon. But in my work, my work, even when it gets so flat, is still structural and still deals with objects. And there are always problems. There's you have the weight. Jasper Johns once said that he didn't tell me, but he told somebody that, and it got written, and I read it, that that what he admired about my work so much was my sense of gravity, and I take that quite literally, because I'm working against and with weight all the time.
What was it, the drawings that we were looking at when I was down? You know, there was one piece that you had to do a number of changes on to make it work structurally.
I do all the time.
There are two ways of commissioning. One is to commission a work that you're going to acquire when it's completed, and the other is to commission a work for an exhibition. In both cases, it's a vote of confidence for the artist. The reason I think it's exciting to commission for an exhibition is because you get something brand new, you get that energy, you get that, they're very stimulated by what's happening, by the show, and usually they're excited by your trust in them. And often you get a piece that's more exciting than one that's already, that they've already made. And there are only certain artists work in this way. With the rodeo show, for example, all of the artists in that show were brought here a year early to see the rodeo, to spend a year doing their work and really bounce off this theme. So every work in that show was a commissioned work. Red Grooms, who did the large indoor rodeo environment. George Green did the life and death of the cowboy. Terry Allen did the Paradise Lounge Motel, which I think was the first environmental piece by Terry. I think one of the best pieces I've seen by any artist anytime. Mimi Grooms, Red's wife, did an environmental piece, which I'm not sure whether it was Mimi's first, but it was, I think, maybe one of her most ambitious pieces. Gary Winogrand, who did a suite of photographs, 50, I think. Bob Rauschenberg did Rodeo Palace, where he was working with the Jammer series at that time, which are very sparse, very beautiful silks. And he didn't think that he could do a piece with a rodeo theme at that time. And he's told the story before, but the words Rodeo Palace came into his mind. He had a vision of the piece. He didn't think he could refuse that gift. It was given, and he did it. So you can see that just by commissioning, we pushed Rauschenberg in a new direction, Terry Allen in a new direction, Andy Mann did his first video environment. That's a new direction. Mimi Grooms in a new direction. I think that we have an obligation to support living artists and to encourage them. An example would be an artist like Raphael Ferrer, who's in his 40s, but who is a younger artist because for many, many years he was a drummer and just became an artist about 10 years ago. He works only doing environmental works, which means that he will work on the spot with found materials. And I thought, we have to bring him down and let him be the first of these series of one-man exhibitions that Elmwood Arts Foundation has been so generous to sponsor this year.
Top bottom or crosswise?
Crosswise. That'll give, yeah.
Most people, are used to coming to museums, and it's a very passive kind of exchange. In other words, you go, you look at a beautiful work of art, and it all remains under a certain kind of tranquil condition. But there are certain works of modern art which upset that way of perceiving. And those works of art demand a certain commitment from the viewer, physically and emotionally.
This reminds me of some sort of wonderful romance at a seaside hotel.
It is very romantic. I'm glad. That's terrific.
Put an address or an open or a name, put it on there.
It's nice to think about a collection as a living entity rather than as just things on racks or in shelves in a print study room. And working at expanding a collection with a commissioning situation makes it that much more a living entity. Bob has talked about the idea of art as real estate, and when you commission it, makes it so much more than that.